the Kabwe mine acquisition in Zambia. So thank you for joining us. Rich, how are you doing?
Oh, very well. How are you, Mark?
Yes, very good, very good. So, of course, last time we spoke, I think it was about a month ago, we were talking about that 11th of June deadline. So today's news confirming that the CCPC final authorization has gone through, and you've called it a huge milestone. So what does it mean, this approval for Shuka? What are the next steps to finalize any remaining addendums you have to do by the end of June?
Yeah, absolutely. The extended drop dead date, if you like, on the sale and purchase agreement was the 11th. We received the director's signature on the 11th from the CCPC, which is the Competition Commission. The technical committee sat about a week or so ago and approved it, and very rarely does it then get kicked out by the board. And they only normally sit quarterly, but they very generously sat early, so we could get it through before the date, which is much appreciated. I think it shows the support, in Zambia, and for this project. Everyone wants to get it going again, as do we. So yeah, you get a bit nervous. You get a bit nervous when things are delayed, but all we've done is extended the sort of settlement period to allow us time to move the Leopard mining shares in Zambia across to Shuka. Obviously, we need to admit the shares that Leopard get in Shuka to the stock exchange on AIM, and also, finalize the cash consideration. So yeah, that a small addendum to the sale and purchase agreement, just to extend those dates, etc. And the support shown by Leopard and what they see the company going is instead of having, they are limited to 29.9% of the company by law, but they took their share, or the share consideration took at a premium to the market. The reference price was 8.6p or 8.59, and they were granted a 10% discount. So the shares went at 7.737p, if I remember correctly. So that again shows their confidence, but also means there's no deferred shares. So if they would continue then have to top up to the 29.9%. So that won't have to happen. So there's no overhang, if you like, on that one.
Good. Well, I know we talked a bit about non-dilutive funding. So you've also announced, of course, that you've got that 1.5 million non-dilutive facility for Kabwe there. So how does this funding work exactly, and what will it cover?
We'll put the details out in an RNS in due course. But yeah, non-dilutive funding is great for the shareholders, because they're always worried that at any share price, is there going to be a raise? And a highly dilutive raise isn't going to help. So that's always, I guess, with any junior mining company, that hangs over your head, and it's always a shareholder worry, I suppose, unless you're generating a lot of cash flow. But if you generate a lot of cash flow, you're probably not a junior mining company. So yeah, it's an unsecured facility that's already been announced. It's non-dilutive, as I say, and it will go towards primarily the cash settlement for Leopard mining exploration, and we'll leave a decent chunk behind for sort of general working capital, getting initially the geology understanding, the geophysics and the drilling started for Kabwe, and also we can put some of the funds towards Rukwa restart as well.
Right. Well, yeah, Rukwa, because I think last time you talked about $145,000 capex to sort of get things going and reach 5,000 tons a month. So I don't know if that still stands, and where you are on timelines with Rukwa.
Yeah, we were moving ahead on all that. There's a bridge to repair. There's roads to redo. We've just come out of the rainy season, so we've got to dewater the pit, or the pits, I should say. There's no point doing that in the middle of the rainy season, and I think the rainy season did extend. They're a little bit more unpredictable at the moment. So they were cracking on with Jafari, and Darwesh are cracking on with that in Tanzania. So yeah, I hope our timeline is, third, fourth quarter this year is to get that going. Obviously smaller to start with, and get it back up to the levels that it used to be able to do.
Yeah, okay. And the idea was, I think, to use some of those funds to help support Shuka's goals going forward. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. And there's as I said before, there's a 60,000 ton stockpile of fines, which only is worth sort of $7-8 a ton, but $7 or $8 a ton times 60,000 tons is £450,000 worth of dollars worth of material. So Darwesh is beavering away and selling that, and that will stay within the Rukwa project and get it all, up and running a lot faster once those sales go through.
Good. Okay, well, I think that brings us up to speed on what's going on the operations side of things. So we keep an eye out for that other announcement towards the end of the month, and then looking forward to Rukwa as we enter the autumn. Just on the JSE, we talked about that last time. I think you were going to the opening, or the gong, perhaps not a bell. I think it was a gong.
It was a drum.
It was a drum, even better. Yeah. Okay, great. I just wondered, how that's gone. I mean, have you had any sort of initial feedback from investors? Have you seen any interest from institutional, or how's that whole kind of listing going?
Yeah, I went out there not with the intention to raise money, but the institutionals were all asking that question, and when and if I am going to raise money both here in London and in Johannesburg at the same time, they would be interested. So that was very encouraging. I wanted to get the shareholders, or the share base, if you like, or the investor base in South Africa interested in the story, listening to me, trusting me, hearing what we've got planned, rather than going straight there with a begging bowl, which again I think was highly appreciated. We listed on the day, on the 21st of May, at 75 cents, or 75 rand cents, and we've been trading between 1 rand 60, 1 rand 70 ever since, which is great. And gradually there was a bit of an arbitrage between London and Johannesburg, but that's closed as well. And it was great fun. Look, the reception and the journalists, it was the first mining listing in Johannesburg for over 2 years, which I was astounded. Last one, I think, was Copper 360 in April 23. And so everyone was really keen to speak to me, to understand what we're trying to do, and again, appreciative of us listing there without coming out with a begging bowl immediately. And it was good fun, but banging the drum for a minute and a bit on the listing, when you're a mile up in the air, I kind of forgot I needed to do a little bit more exercise, I think.
Gosh, you've got to bang it for 90 seconds. Okay.
Something like that.
Fair enough. Okay, good. Well, thanks, Rich. So the next sort of rest of this year, let's say the next 6 months, there's a fair bit going to happen on the operations side, then it sounds like. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And look, we'll update the market, as the SPA is finalized and closed during this month, and cash consideration comes through to Leopard, and it all gets closed off. Plus, obviously, this time of year in the middle of audits, so I can take a big deep breath at the beginning of July and get on with what I'm good at, which is the geology and the planning on how to get the mine going, and then the drilling.
Oh, excellent. Good. Well, thanks very much, Rich. It's good to hear things kicking off, so I'm sure we'll be speaking again fairly regularly. But for now, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like, or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.